This One's Wife. The love affair is over. Last week, news broke that This One's Wife and Harry had lost their 10th publicist in 5 years, when the hard-charging former Netflix executive, Emily Robinson, quit her post after just 3 months. A friend of Robinson's said that leaving was her decision. She left a few weeks ago. She's not a quitter, so things must have been pretty horrible for her to go. The Duke and Duchess of Monte shit show haven't only lost 10 publicists. Since moving to the United States in 2020, they've also shed 5 top staffers, including producers and charity employees. A poor track record that they've continued from their time in the United Kingdom, where they churned through 9 senior aides as working royals. Some of these former workers were so traumatised they formed the Sussex Survivors Club to help themselves heal. Pausing there, as I've explained previously, this high turnover of staff is demonstrative of the narcissism of This One's Wife, whereby her demanding nature, her haughtiness, her dismissiveness, her lack of emotional empathy, the way that she basically treats people, results in them having had enough. The fact that she will not listen to advice, that she believes that she knows best, that she insists on being afforded to receive special treatment, all of this culminates in a toxic working environment that people will not tolerate. It's also demonstrative of the collateral consequences. You treat people like shit, and they will leave. But of course, as you know, she keeps on doing it. Paula Froelich, writing in the Times, states, after repeating this pattern year after year, you'd think at some point This One's Wife would look herself in the mirror and ask, is it really everyone else? Or could the problem just possibly be me? Now, pausing there, you, as long-time listeners of my work, know that simply is never going to happen. And it is instructive that once again you have a journalist who looks at it and thinks, surely since you've lost all of these employees, you must be able to work out, This One's Wife, that you're the problem. But as you know, it doesn't work like that. Because each and every time, her narcissism will not allow her to conclude that she's the problem, because to do so would affect the necessity of her need for control. Instead, it keeps telling her, that person was incompetent. That person simply wasn't up to the job. That person was lazy. That person didn't understand me well enough. That person wouldn't take instructions. And if you were to say, but hang on a second, This One's Wife, can't you see, surely, that if all of these people, they can't all have been useless? Is it not you that's causing the problem? Essentially, does not compute. And she will churn back. No. As I've just said, that one was lazy, that one was incompetent, that one didn't listen, that one didn't understand my needs. For those of you who have been involved with the narcissist, you will know full well this experience, which is akin to banging your head against a brick wall. The narcissist will not let you in because it will not allow any suggestion that they are at fault. And even where a narcissist might appear to accept fault, you know that it's not genuine, it's false contrition. And thus this journalist demonstrates once again how they don't understand the narcissism of This One's Wife, because it's futile to think that This One's Wife will ever engage in any form of self-reflection and conclude that the problem is her. Froelich continues by explaining, unfortunately, this long-awaited moment of self-realisation still seems very far away. Well, indeed, it'll never arrive. Because every bit of bad news about the Sussexes is always met by This One's Wife reminding us that she is a perennial victim, the victim mentality of the narcissist, or that Harry is forever traumatised by his childhood, or she will spin bad news into a fantastical positive that nobody believes anymore. After her 10th publicist left, This One's Wife simply said, Ms. Robinson oversaw project-based work for a very successful season of With Love, Meghan, and additional support for the production company. She did an excellent job and completed these projects with great success. And now, the Duchess is in overdrive. In the past month, This One's Wife has appeared at Fortune's Most Powerful Women Summit in Washington, D.C., accepted a humanitarian award in New York, and shown up as a surprise at the Balenciaga fashion show in Paris, which reportedly cost the label over $250,000 in free clothing, flights and hotels for the Duchess. Let's not forget, of course, it's also included her pumpkin patch performance and that she was at the shit on the table dinner. While in DC, This One's Wife even managed to reframe the recent bad news about Netflix's decision not to renew its $100 million partnership with her and Harry. She told the crowd that the downgrade to a much less lucrative first-look deal was actually exciting and a sign of strength. Or, for those of us in the know, a sign of her delusion. Again, it's all part of a pattern. Back in June, when This One's Wife's Confessions of a Female Founder podcast with Lemonada Media failed to chart and was not renewed, she spun it as a personal decision, publicly confirming there would be no second season of the show because she needed to focus on her food product business, as ever. In other words, her narcissism deflected. She can't say, it failed because I'm really boring and nobody's interested in me. Instead, we're not doing a second season because I'm going to focus on my food product business. As she told her pal Emma Greed on Greed's podcast, I love that there's so much excitement and desire for another season of Confession of a Female Founder, which of course there isn't. That's the delusion, perhaps coupled with the sycophants around her that tell her what she wants to hear. But she says, I need to focus on my business. At a certain point, the only thing I want to spread thin is my jam. And what's happening with As Ever, you ask? Well, this week, This One's Wife dropped the new collection on her website, which features a range of holiday offerings. See parts passim. What's more, she used her 6-year-old son and her 4-year-old daughter to slyly market the range, even though she insists their privacy must be guarded at all costs. Hypocrisy. On Monday, This One's Wife posted an Instagram video with blurry shots of her children at a pumpkin patch, one day before her product launch. 30 minutes later, after thousands of screenshots of her children's faces had flooded the internet, their images were deleted without comment, prompting a lot more bad press than good. Radar Online shrieked, This One's Wife breaks family promise by finally showing her kids' faces for the first time in 3 years in Halloween-themed video. The Sun said what everybody was thinking. This One's Wife hiding her kids' faces is a scheme. She'll be making money from the big reveal in no time. In other words, while This One's Wife may fancy herself as a master media manipulator, she does not understand that the public is finally tiring of her smoke and mirrors. Her need for love and admiration, which as you all know is part of her narcissism, is now beginning to have the opposite effect. Ranker, an LA-based site that uses crowdsourcing to fuel its rankings, just rated her the number one most loathed celebrity in the United States in its poll of 48,000 people. Prince Harry is only 2 slots behind her, debuting as the 3rd most despised celebrity, with only convicted sex felon Sean Diddy Combs separating the two. And on Tuesday night, the proof was there for everyone to see. When This One's Wife and Harry sat front row at a World Series game in Los Angeles and appeared on the Jumbotron, they were greeted with boos from the crowd. It seems that whatever love affair America once had with the couple is well and truly over. And perhaps it's time the Duchess started listening to some podcasts on self-awareness. Paula Froelich, forming the view that the love affair that parts of America might have had with This One's Wife and Harry is well and truly over. But, again, demonstrates her lack of understanding of what This One's Wife is by thinking it's time for This One's Wife to get some self-awareness. It's never going to happen. Whilst it may well be the case that there has been another turning of the corner even in relation to the relationship between This One's Wife, Harry, and the United States, the fact remains that This One's Wife will not go away. Her narcissism continues to drive her. And so long as people are known to read, to watch, to comment, the media will report on her. They have no real interest in her. They just know that she gets eyeballs, largely driven by people wanting to see what the latest fuck-up is. So long as that happens, There is now an almost self-perpetuating situation. The media know that people will watch and read, so they comment upon her. The readers and viewers know that there's going to be material about her, therefore they watch and they read. Because they watch and read, the media know that she's watched and read, therefore they will continue to report upon her. Because they continue to report upon her, there's material that people will view and watch and read. Because they continue to view and watch and read, the media know that there's an audience, so they will continue to report upon her, and round it goes. She will not go away. You have to make her go away by deciding, I'm not going to look at anything to do with her any longer. But still, many people remain invested in her. Despite them stating, I wish she would just go away, the only way that's going to happen is if you decide that you're going to stop reading about her. Then you don't need to know anything about her, and she's not going to invade your life. This one's wife is not going to come and knock on your door and start chatting to you. You can cut her out of your life. And when eventually enough people do that, the various magazines, etc. will realise there's no point writing about her, and thus less will be recorded about her, and it will only be the hardcore that will be searching out information about her, presumably through her social media, that would learn anything about her. But so long as people continue to want to know about her, the media will report about her, meaning there's stuff to see about her, and round it will go. As I've explained before, people continue to wait for that moment where it all goes horribly wrong, but there's not going to be a major exposure of her. Instead, you're just going to get more of what you've seen just recently. Repeated attempts for relevance as she circles the drain, becoming less and less interesting. You might argue, is that even possible now? With fewer and fewer opportunities available to her. The fact remains that she's just going to carry on doing the same things, turning up at an event, making a use of the speech, wearing inappropriate clothing, laughing at the wrong time, eye-fucking the camera. You've seen it all before, and you'll see it all again. The only major thing that might occur is the possibility of divorce. But for now, whilst the love affair appears to be over, this one's wife isn't going to self-reflect, and she isn't going to go anywhere either. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.